Yenye potential president.
Sure.
Potential president.
Sure.
Yenye careful the way amusi totom hono baumia wayem kruntu juma ma MPP.
Yeah.
Canada Pong wayem kruntu juma be brama full soldiers. Dr. Duchum or the animonyam abrena na kufuado for education ho engineer discipline open MPP omomuji enti enipa num ni nyina no me mani agene say MPP were potential people.
Yeah.
Obia no se wuyi na obetimi adi o mine so.
Sure.
That is my happiness. Unlike NDC. Now on NDC they were only projecting John Mahama. That is why they are suffering now. NDC challenge was that they were always projecting John Mahama. And you catch them say man projected other candidates apart from John Mahama. Time at John Mahama is free soon. Obenya sa problem. Once they say Akoye Julius, Akoye Asedu, but how did they market Asedu Nketia to become president? How did they market Julius Debra to become the president? But imagine say Anke wo ebia John Mahama Julius Asedu why na no more campaign ya unso mo potential.
Maybe within the party strategically is advantageous to the party no enya some faso because so much rivalry contest anymore.
But and to sell somebody is not easy.
But outside no, in the space of Ghana, say ubia no na problematic kakra say afi na obema nkrofo ehu but another scenario is also your friend is saying Kwabene Japan.
Yeah.
Ono so almost suspended no. He was out of space.
Yeah.
But Obas is here no. Over the marketability now, cost and people are recognizing him. So I'm not surprised the NDC to me. I mean, I bring somebody and within the shortest possible time, we go marketing.
NDC challenge and they say, Omunya laziti to say we no. If we say, Tama NDC ebe bempano, maybe a bear 2027 abos afido mu you muti because when to me new to a president that's what so.
But say much as ye kasa.
I know ya kasa, but it's different from afido was meko. When ye o de ho chire but obekono different.
Okay.
That
is another point. Oh, yes, some for actually.
What is Julius Obeko president?
So more the omo kan omo and omo you omo pi
and confond
and I won't say na can say we be say adoma question can say obi o ho say be omie na no nka sem but ne ya o ye ne kire say as we be obey those things are going that committee Vanderpoy is a Vanderpoy you say na o say opese ono exceed nketi akọ for
Vanderpoy
or say exceed nketi nya akọ for flag bearership obedi national chairman.
Okay, on there.
And you see people are didn't know people see didn't get ready. Didn't know maybe other I don't know they are doing but so
this is another apology. Today I'm just too sad. People didn't vote. People voted left and right. People were angry at a time when we were suffering. Petrol prices was going up. Russia-Ukraine war has wreaked havoc on our pricing of commodities. Everybody was angry. Then they said somebody had stolen $1 million. Stolen $1 million and put in her house. She and her husband. They are government minister. He's stolen money. Vindication is in the womb of time. Today, people are tagging me on all kinds of things about this story. What shall I say? And this is it. We are sorry. We are so sorry. This old man, I met him only once for the first time. He was almost in tears. God has kept him alive until this day because God knew that this day will come. God has kept him alive. Today, he's hearing the news. He couldn't even hear that well. And he was so sad, showing me the kind of work that he has done all his life and asking me that if he's done all this work, he doesn't have that money. What did he work for? Today, open your phone. It's on all the portals. Every portal is talking about it. People didn't vote. Parliamentary candidates lost election. Some people won election on the back of a story that in the vindication of time, we now know that is not true. So it was not true. So no money had been stolen. Ghana, no money had been stolen. Ghana. Oh, I feel like crying. Devastated. I wish Nana Sase can render a poem about this. Our beloved Ghana. Please see whether I can get me Ghana, my happy home. That song, look for it if you can find it. Ghana, our beloved Ghana, this is how we treat it. So it is not true. It was not true. There was no truth in it. They say no direct something. What words do they use? I've forgotten. It wasn't true. And you see, we are sorry. Papa, we are sorry. There's nothing for us to say. We are just sorry. We can't say anything else. Oh, this matter. It was not true. This is serious, you know. I'd like to go back and read this letter of 22nd July 2023. It reads as follows. The President, 22nd July 2023. Dear Cecilia, I have received your letter dated Saturday 22nd July 2023, resigning from office as Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources and as a member of the government. It is with considerable regret that I accept your resignation, and I applaud your loyalty to the image and standing of the government. The work you undertook during your period in government was excellent and productive, and I thank you for your wholehearted contribution and devotion to the progress of the government and the nation. I am confident, like you, that at the end of the day, your integrity, whilst in office, will be fully established. I wish you the very best in all your endeavors. Yours sincerely, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. The amount of insults this letter received. Amount of insults this letter received. The amount of insults that this letter received. Vindication is in the womb of time. Let God give all of us life. Let God give all of us life. There's an election gone, another election is coming, another election will come, there will be elections, but vindication is in the womb of time. Vindication is in the womb of time. He said, I am confident, like you, that at the end of the day, your integrity, whilst in office, will be fully established. I wish you the very best in all your endeavors. At the time he wrote this, there was no talk of FBI or CIA or anything. No one even knew the dimensions that this was going to take. Today, vindication has come in the womb of time. Ghana, our Ghana. Wow. Wow. Let me have Auntie Sisi again and apologize. Let me have Auntie Sisi and apologize. Auntie Sisi, we are sorry. Why? We there. Esrawa. Sembia anywhere beka. Yentimi nya ho hwe. Enim guase ediegu. Yentimi nka hwe. Enim guase ediegu dada. Dada ye kronfo. Dada ko wieska de akoshe ne dem. Yentimi nka hwe. Obeno ko no wo ba hwe. No na fe wo beno ko no wo ba hwe. Enyuma ajonye. Okay, dada enyuma ajonye. Oh, this country, let's hold it well. It's a beautiful country with an amazing future. Let's hold Ghana well. Let's forget about the past. Let's forgive those who have done what they have done. Let's forgive them. Let's forgive them in our hearts. Let's forgive them in our minds. And let's focus. Because even those people, they still have something to contribute. Let me have President Mahama and Samia Kujeto again. Even those people, they still have something to contribute. Samia Kujeto is young. He still has something to contribute. So let's forgive them. And let's tap into their talents. And let's work together and build a great nation. Because we are capable of doing that. Thank you very much. This is the end of my editorial. Ghana, my happy home.
Ghana, my happy home, my happy home. Land of rich resources. Land of mighty talent, racial tolerance, justice and freedom. Justice and freedom. Ghana, my happy home, my happy home. Home of the brave and
I didn't know about an anope.
Sisi, adi white bit is a through into a munana a bomb. Sisi, a papa.
The 10 and I was on.
I yet a woman.
I know that.
Oh, papa. at the same a yepa.
Say, woman, dear, come on.
No be.
Today, by 7
To make him kind.
Hey,
And I'm some kind Bible. And I'm seeing me. My Bible, dear, dream. Some other was so. That was it.
it is a bit fee, none near friend. This is so. Who will be or share space? The person I will catch her.
The Americans say one fast birthday into the Kura. Now, about so far, clear one. The women in draft from room. Oh, no, I say, oh, no one drink. Nay, you man, or one. Now, what you so young, one.
Amen. It is a oh, chair the Premier Lumias, a quay, a there are some of a catcher in the Premier Lumias.
Oh, Michelle will be a sir. My conscience is say on your uncle board of the sea. Would you one ton, your horse, always are so happy. What do you mean?
Do you know?
Oh, fire. On shed and charge you say, go up on the echo, you say, or be more broke a crab in arm. One me, I'm military, I'll be who said, I dear Merco, the air how be a be free.
You I can form of a mammy or buy my boy. I was
Fancy 3 weeks in when we took now to me and some way.
Now to me, sir, and ever to agree, Conum yet. And then, what say, once and a day, oh dear Dancy. And to walk also to fear our near friend, a test when you're glaucoma. Or shall dear womb Blakk, what I saw like I say, baby, a Tuntonia. Who will do her also pass off up here now, yen, first also. We are about when I had already shut up when you should do. Amen.
We had done a story here about President Mahama's first broken promise. I hope you remember that. His first broken promise was the number of women who were going to be in his cabinet. At the end of the day, his promise was completely shattered away. Now there's another matter coming up. Samuel Abu Jinapor here is alleging before Parliament that President John Dramani Mahama does not have 60 ministers in reality. You know, there's a de facto, the de jure, there's an ipso facto, ipso jure. So de facto means in terms of fact. De jure means in the terms of law. As far as the law is concerned, de jure, de facto. As far as ipso jure, de jure. De jure is as far as the law is concerned. Ipso jure is as far as the law says. Now, de facto is as far as the fact goes. Ipso facto is as far as the factual thing you can see. Abu Jinapor is alleging that in de jure terms, President Mahama may say he has 60 ministers, but in de facto terms, he has 100 ministers. He doesn't have 60. And that is a deception of the people. As you remember, is it Abraham Lincoln who said it? You can fool the people, some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time, etc., etc. Bob Marley put it in a song. The celebrated Ghanaian conscious speaker, Blakk Rasta, also took his turn to express his discontent about the way the appointments are being made. Let's first go to Parliament and listen to Samuel Abu Jinapor's erudite presentation about this matter. Just for the records, because President Mahama says he has 60 ministers. Abu says, no, you have 100. Why is Abu saying that President Mahama has 100 ministers and not 60? Have a look.
Speaker, let me address one very important matter, which is the question of the size of government. And indeed, the president, when he addressed this house, made the claim that he had formed the leanest and most effective government in the history of our country. So, Speaker, I want to submit that you can have 10 ministers, another government can have 20 ministers, and the government that has 20 ministers may have a smaller government machinery, a smaller government size than you who have 10 minutes. And I want to demonstrate that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's on record. The record is that the pegging or ranking of officials of the presidency are as follows, Mr. Speaker. Since the inception of the Fourth Republican dispensation, the Chief of Staff is pegged at the rank below the Speaker of Parliament, but above a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, a senior presidential advisor is pegged at the level of a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of parliament. So a senior presidential advisor, by all intents and purposes, their salaries, emolument, conditions of service is equivalent to a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of parliament. Mr. Speaker, a presidential advisor is pegged at the level of a cabinet minister who is not a member of parliament. A presidential staffer is pegged at the level of a non-cabinet minister who is not a member of parliament. And a presidential aide is pegged at the level of a deputy minister. These are the rankings since the inception of the 4th Republican District. Mr. Speaker, so if you want to see the size of government and its bearing on the national exchequer, Mr. Speaker, don't just look at ministers and deputy ministers. Look at the government holistically. And Mr. Speaker, I want to submit that if you look at this government holistically, there are ministers, deputy ministers, senior presidential advisors, presidential staffers, presidential aides. President Mahama has formed arguably one of the biggest or largest governments in the history of our country as it relates to the cost on the national exchequer. Mr. Speaker, why do I say this? Check, for example, the president has appointed Dr. Valerie Sawyer as senior presidential advisor in charge of government affairs. Her rank is a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of parliament. So her salary, her emolument, conditions of service, everything to do with her office is at the same rank as a cabinet minister who doubles as a member of parliament. That's because he's appointed a presidential advisor on economy, appointed presidential advisor for 24-hour economy, presidential advisor and special aid to the president, presidential advisor on national anti-corruption program, presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. Mr. Speaker, he goes on to appoint presidential advisor, presidential staffer, and special aid to the vice president, presidential staffer for Blakk Star experience, and then presidential staffer for diaspora affairs. Mr. Speaker, then he goes ahead to appoint 5 policy advisors to the vice president. Mr. Speaker, he tells the country that he's appointed a minister in charge of agribusiness, and yet he's appointed director at the presidency in charge of agriculture and agribusiness. My good friend Peter Buama Otukono. Mr. Speaker, he says he will not appoint deputy regional ministers, and he appoints 16 presidential staffers in charge of the 16 regions of our country. Mr. Speaker, I want to submit that these presidential staffers in charge of the 16 regions of our country, in essence, as it relates to the cost on the national exchequer, are in fact, indeed, and in substance, deputy ministers of state. Mr. Speaker, he then appoints, Mr. Speaker, listen carefully, please. Mr. Speaker, he then appoints 1 presidential advisor on media, 4 directors of communication at the office of the president, 5 deputy directors of communication, 2 communication specialists, 5 technical communication assistants, 1 media aide, 1 assistant media liaison officer, 1 communications consultant. That's because I've done the mathematics, and I want to submit. That's because I've done the mathematics that I want to submit, and I do this not from a partisan lens, but I do this as somebody who had the privilege and honor to serve as Deputy Chief of Staff. I know how it works. In terms of the cost on the national exchequer, the president has appointed 100 ministers and deputy ministers.
That was Abdullah Jinapor. And send us your text on what you think about this issue. He's saying that based on the advisors that President Mahama has appointed, he has a point. How do you have a minister for agri? You have a deputy minister for agri. Then you have at the presidency, presidential advisor on agribusiness. What is happening? You have 3 people on agribusiness. John Domelo is deputy minister. There's a minister. Then somebody at the presidency. He sits at the presidency. We'll talk about that. But that was Abu's view of the matter from parliament and from his privileged position as a former chief of staff. But there was also another sociological position on the appointments of President Mahama. It was rendered by Blakk Rasta. Some of the language from Blakk Rasta's rendition is quite harsh, but here it is.
I am honestly worried about the number of people President Mahama is appointing left, right, and center. I am scared. In fact, cockroaches are being appointed. Lizards are being appointed. Mosquitoes are being appointed left, right, and center. Mr. President, let's be honest and let's have it straight. If you have promised that we are going to have the leanest government is not only about ministers and deputy ministers. They involve and include all your appointees, for crying out loud. I am scared the rate at which appointments are flying all over the place. Is it a way to satisfy some people who supported the campaign? When you pass here, a cockroach has been appointed as something for something. A lizard is here, a frog is here. Then you check another corner, there is a bigger reptile there that is also appointed. It is a cause for alarm.
I didn't know about an anopay. To buy an NDC.
See, I did quite a bit of through a munana a bomb. To say a papa.
The tenant was so.
I tell him.
I know that.
Oh, papa, I say a yepa.
See, who not there come.
No be.
To the bar 7
to making kind.
Hey,
and I'm some kind Bible. And I'm saying, my Bible, dear, dream, the matter was so. That was it.
It is said, obey to fee, none and near friend. It is so, who will be or share special. The person I will catch her.
The Americans say one fast birthday into baby could now about so far to a while. The women in draft on room. Oh, no, I say, oh, no one drink. Nay, if you man, or one. And what you so young, one.
Amen. It is said, oh, chair the Premier Lumias, a equi, a day as a number can't chair in the Premier Lumias.
Oh, Michelle will be a sir. My conscience is say, on your uncle border to see. Would you one turn your horse, always are so far. What do you mean? Oh, fire. On shed and charge you say, go up on the echo, you say, or be more broke a crabby now. One we are military, I will say, I dear Merco, dear, how be I to be few.
Sure, you. I can form of her. Mammy, or buy my boy, I was a man. Fine, said 3 weeks in mine, but now to me and some way. Now to me, sir, and ever to agree, Conum yet. And then, what I said, once and a day, oh dear Dancy, and to walk also to fear our near friend. A test so, when you're glaucoma. What shall I dear womb? Black, what I saw, but I can say, baby, a Tuntonia. Who will do her also pass off up here now, yen, first also. We are about when I had already shut up when this is Amen.
Osofo, what a day you had.
Yeah, it's a terrible day, it's a sad day for
Why
democracy.
were you guys shouting so much in Parliament?
No, for anyone who's a believer in democracy, today is a very sad day. You must be worried, you must be very concerned about how democracy is deteriorating under the watch of President Mahama and Speaker Blakk. We have had, this is the 9th Parliament, we have had 7 speakers of Parliament. I've never seen any of the past speakers under whose, under who was seated and presided over such chaos.
This video that we are watching, what was happening here?
You see in your video, the speaker seated, and all because the minority stood to fight for democracy. We stood to fight for the
But why
the
is the
rights
speaker
of our
seated
people.
and you guys are standing? What's the point? What's going on?
The speaker had given a ruling which was accepted by the minority. Then he turned around to issue an instruction, a directive, totally different from what he had earlier ruled, and declaring unconstitutionally declaring the seat of Pandai vacant at the time when the matter is still pending in court. And so We are of the view that the matter is still in court, and the court, until it is a final determination is seen, the seat is not vacant, and so the Speaker has no right whatsoever and erred in declaring the seat vacant. And therefore, we demanded by our minority chief whip that Speaker rescinds that decision, that we make progress.
When we're monitoring in Parliament, the Speaker said he was going to reschedule his ruling. Is that not what happened?
Yeah, so Speaker
that was around 7 o'clock.
Speaker said he was going to give his ruling the next day.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Yes, and we had been there for the whole day. So we filed a motion for adjournment.
Okay.
And then they said, no, they won't have it. Speaker said, no, he won't close us for us to reconvene tomorrow, and that he was still going to continue the business of Parliament as though we live in a one-party state. This is Parliament.
No, but why did you want us to continue? I mean, you wanted a ruling from the Speaker, and the Speaker said, I'll give the ruling tomorrow. So that ruling aside, let's continue with the work of the House.
No, but
why
it was already 7 p.m.
What time
people had been there from 12. So, I mean, what stops, what at all was going to be carried out that cannot be taken tomorrow?
So what business transpired then? What happened?
Everything that transpired, I didn't see the mace in place. It's all illegal. It's all null and void.
Who took the mace away?
The marshals of Parliament in the midst of the chaos. And I've never seen a Parliament in session with Speaker seated with such chaos, because they want to turn this country into a one-party state.
What brought about the chaos? Can you help us? What brought about the chaos?
So we said that let's adjourn to tomorrow, and then we come, Speaker gives his ruling, then we proceed with every other business.
Ruling on what? What ruling was expected from the Speaker?
For him to make a pronouncement on rescinding his decision. Now, Speaker had earlier given a directive, and the Clerk of Parliament had written to EC declaring Pandai seats vacant at a time when the matter is still pending in court. And so
this is the seat that the High Court said there should be rerun.
Yes.
But the legal process is such that one can appeal.
And the appeal was filed.
And it happened in Jachikwesin, didn't it?
Absolutely. It happened in Jachikwesin, it happened in Tofe's case, and in all these instances, they stayed the decision until the final determination. And
because with Jachikwesin, a ruling had been given on the day Parliament was starting.
Absolutely.
And Afenyo Makin had drawn the clerk's attention to it.
Yes.
That's what brought about the chaos of January 2021.
No, January 2021, the chaos was about
numbers.
The Speaker of Parliament.
And whether Jachikwesin should be there or not.
Election.
Yeah, before the election, there was whether Jachikwesin should be there or not.
Absolutely. But that did not degenerate into this.
Oh, it was what the degeneration was about the voting.
The degeneration was about the voting of the Speaker.
So the majority at that time, your side, understood that Jachikwesin can be there. Even though
it was contentious.
Well, okay.
It was contentious,
but it didn't become.
But no Speaker of Parliament declared any seat vacant at the time the matter was still pending in court.
Okay, so when Speaker said you wanted him to rescind the decision, then what happened? The story.
So then we said let's adjourn to tomorrow because it was already past 7 p.m. Then the next day we'll come and then undertake the rest of the businesses after Speaker had indeed declared and rescinded his decision. Then they said no, they insisted that they will carry on business. We said no, let's just adjourn. And we ran this House, minority and majority, on consensus. So you can't treat the House as though it is a one-party state. And then the Speaker corroborated with the majority leader and insisted that complete disregard to the presence and the sentiment of the minority, business must go on. We stood up. Usually when you stand up, while Speaker is in the seat, as per our rules, there are a certain level of order that has to be applied. All those rules were defied. And Speaker sadly watched on, presided over a chaotic Parliament. I've never seen any Parliament this chaotic with Speaker presided. Whoever sanctioned that and in whosever interest this business was conducted, it is very shameful.
Some viewers are now coming home and they are now hearing all of that. So let's take it slowly. So Speaker gave a ruling that Panda is vacant. Minority protested.
Yes.
Based on Speaker's ruling, the clerk wrote to EC. Minority protested and then requested the Speaker to review that decision.
Absolutely.
What happened after that? That's today.
That's today. The Speaker said he will give his ruling the next day.
He will give a review ruling.
No one is sure whatever decision.
But he indicated that he has another ruling to give.
Yes, he has a ruling to make a pronouncement.
So there were two ways. Either the ruling was going to confirm what he has already said, or he was going to change it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Any of these two.
So with that, you wanted to go home and come tomorrow?
Yes, because it was past 7. And
But if there was another business to be done, which is not Pandai, can't Parliament do it?
No, but what's the urgency of it? That can't wait for tomorrow. What about what motion, what estimate that was taken today that cannot wait till tomorrow? What was the emergency legislation they
So
passed?
this video we are seeing,
what emergency estimate did
this
they
video
pass?
we are seeing is at the time when they wanted to continue without adjourning.
And so this was when the minority stood up and said, no, Speaker, we're tired. We must go home and come back and continue tomorrow. And usually, anytime you have the minority or one side indicating strongly a sentiment, I mean, common sense must tell you that by consensus, let's adjourn. Tomorrow we just come. Because
so this standing up here and coalition around the minority leader's place means what?
So they called the Marshal of Parliament to come and then heckle the minority. In the process, where the marshals assaulted a female member of Parliament who was seated standing right in front of me. And I got so upset.
The marshals assaulted?
Oh, they assaulted a female MP right in front of me.
Why?
And that's why I got so upset.
Who
and
asked the marshals to come and do what?
I questioned them. The Speaker sanctioned that. So did they sanction you to come and assault females? I'm a father of girls. I have daughters. If you have a wife, you have daughters, and you have sisters, you should be so sensitive not to sanction marshals to go and assault a female. So if you saw me in the video at some point, I got really upset. This is a very sad day for our democracy. And for all these things they're doing, it is an intent.
Let's build it again. So this standing up here was in protest to what? What was the standoff for?
So
to tell Speaker that we are going home.
Yes, so let's adjourn. Let's adjourn.
So you can leave, or
no,
it doesn't work like that.
Works. Okay. See, the House of Parliament works by consensus, and you run Parliament with 276 members of Parliament, majority and minority. This is not a one-party state, and that is what they are pushing towards. You see, Paul.
Okay, so I still want to understand the chaos. So when people stand up like that, what were you trying to achieve?
So when you have a whole side of the House refusing to cooperate in a manner and raising very, very tenable sentiments, that is past 7 p.m. So let's adjourn.
Oh, okay. So this is what was going on. That's what we were seeing from 7 p.m. to about 8.
Absolutely. That's what happened.
So this happened after the majority leader had treated the reports from the committees on the budget, judicial committee and all that.
So at this point, and throughout this chaos, they were trying to pass through all their estimates. Regardless.
Oh, whilst this was going on?
Oh yes, they were passing estimates.
Are you serious?
They passed over 24 estimates.
Whilst all this
chaos was going on, Speaker was doing business with the majority leader. They were conducting business, motion this, who is moving, who is seconding, and motion is passed, the Speaker will gavel, and then they move on to the next motion. That is how...
And the marshals were on you guys.
It's like a jungle.
The marshals were on you guys.
Yes, they dispatched them. It's very, very sad.
But that means they were suggesting to you they can do the business of the House without you. That's what they're trying to say.
The only thing they're suggesting is that they can turn democracy into a jungle. The only thing they're suggesting is that they can turn this country into a one-party state. What they're suggesting is that they can push forward for third-term agenda and they can get away with it and disregard democracy, disregard everyone whose term matters. What they are trying to say, and that's the point, Paul, we've been trying to prove, and that is what the minority stood up to fight for the ordinary person who believes in democracy. We want Ghanaians that President Mahama and NDC don't have good intentions for the democracy. They are coming in to destroy the gains. They are coming in to remove the Chief Justice unlawfully. And then people said, no, you're doing politics. Eventually, they removed the Chief Justice. We further warned that all they intend to do is to go after the Electoral Commissioner and then go after other persons. And then now they proceeded on that. They're in the process of removing them. And then we warned again that all these things they are doing is to grant President Mahama a lifetime in power, completely desecrating our democracy. So if we do not show concern as a citizen and rise up, the unfortunate things happening around us, we fear, Paul, that it might happen. Look at what is happening in Benin. Look at what we are hearing in Guinea-Bissau. Look at what happened in the Sahel, in Mali, in Guinea, in Burkina Faso. Do we want that to happen in Ghana? But the trajectory they are going in for all intent and to all intent and purposes is completely turning upside down.
I didn't know about an anopay.
Na many.
To buy an NDC.
See, I did white bit through into a munana a bomb. To say a paper pa.
The 10 and I was so.
I tell him.
I know that.
Oh, paper. I the same. A yepa.
See, woman, they come.
No be.
Today, by 7
to make him kind.
Hey,
and I'm some kind Bible. And I'm seeing it. My Bible, dear, dream. Some other was so that was it.
It is a bit to fear, none near friend. It is so. Who will be or just special. The person I will catch her.
The Americans say one fast breaking into bed. Now, about so far clear one. When many drop on room. Oh, no, I say, oh, no, and the link. Nay, yeah, Jumana, or one. And what you so young, one. I met.
It is a oh, chair the Pamilumias, a equi, there are some of a catcher and the Pamilumias.
Oh, Michelle will be a sir. My conscience is set on your uncle border to see. You do one more ton, your horse, almost as soft happy. What do you name?
Do you know?
Oh, Pahe. On said and charge you say, go up on the echo, ye say, or be more broke a crab in arm. One we are military, I will say, I dear Echo, the air how be a be few.
Sure, you. I have 4 more very. Emma, you buy my money was me.
Fine, said 3 weeks in mine, which now to me and some way.
Now to me, sir, and Emma. Ever to agree, Conum ye. And then, Papa said, once and a day, oh dear Dancy. And to walk also to fear our near friend. A test so when you're glaucoma. Or shall dear womb Blakk, what I saw like I say, baby, a tuntonia. Who will do her also pass off up here now a year, first also. To be out of the Baobab, when I had said, a redemption of this with him. Amen.
Me who say multimedia ye the documentary bi by a friend Dear Mahama na sa Dear Mahama no ye the picture bi and a torso na picture ne ye do onu ni din and ye de ato galamsey eso into why who Dear Mahama stop galamsey now na eno ye documentary dia eye multimedia ye tie pa na ebaye no. Well, the good thing is, Honorable Frank Amwakohene, Doctor, Regional Minister of Ashanti Region, Mianka Seminia, and the raise say, oh, now then, Tini a day, Yera John Mahama picture mum and now also your documentary, no. Na Ususu say, Yera John Dramani Mahama, or Bon Homo Day, Efa Sa and your man home. Inti picture na ye use ne emwa. Inti a hard dream. Now, picture when you are to some patch over Facebook, you decide picture no and out to so. Therefore, pay Nana Kufado Diano and Mammy. Pay Nana Kufado Diano and Mammy so. Enti Rabesha picture, first picture ye di kind at the torso. Nasa first picture na ye the torso no. A joint news feature series. Dear Mahama. Any other picture atoso na joy for ne de toso no yera Frank Amwakohene o say oh picture we there na ni kwan say any sa na ni kwan say de to ne so na it's a hard dream. Of course multimedia for no asesa no but muntie ha multimedia for a joy for us a picture. But I don't see anything wrong with the picture. Miana Miniane Frankamwakohine, you know my position. But I disagree with Minia regional minister. Now I don't even see why I wasn't joining so we use our picture. The picture should have been there. I disagree, say multimedia, Joy News. Almost a picture now. You did John Dramani Mahama Atosono. I disagree. I was saying the picture no toso. Nanka why you the picture toso? Ah, Minia regional minister. Franka Mwakwihini, why you the picture toso? I was saying the John Mahama president the picture no toso. And the picture no dey okay and one and no pay me use. I mean, my trana has said, na picture we crowd do man yadi. I wasn't comedy AI. President John Mahama ne cabinet no na cabinet no insuo sa river tunnel ne nasefo. Sa AI ne meye AI President John Mahama omuti cabinet no insuo no mu no river tunnel wa ha, river ayensu wa ha, river hwan wa ha. Ah, enti minia regional minister na me bo yem. Me say, of course, Joy News and I me instead of me mayor fufro. Me din President John Mahama will take cabinet. A river tunnel ni river pran na sefo omujine jinemu. Be share Facebook 2019. I want you to get the other picture so the the toast on man no. I want you to me person NDC for a picture of Nana Akufo-Addo. We crowd they say the John Mahama din abakama na nima efe kama. We dey ye Nana Akufo-Addo ye tutu na nima galamsey enim. Please get me that photo. The only thing they say minia Franka Mwakohen regional minister sebi anya te say standogo a odi ahantan didi obi atem no. O kan ye disagree and I respect that. The good thing they say anya te say standogo di ankobeka se yajimi jimimpo. But at least regional minister does say he disagrees, and that is perfect. Yet yes, and ama joy for assessor umudia me edit and come in sesano. So I'm using this dear Mahama picture we are coming soon. Ah, dear ni anye na Akufo-Addo wa hawa galamsey ho. Ye mu bi kra de ya bompa she de na Akufo-Addo NDC for. What did you say about that? I hate hypocrisy. Sanya tumno yenyai. As a 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. Shedia wuya na Akufo-Addo bra Facebook na behe. NDC for joy for adetina mu yesa. Do you think say John Mahama president respectfully or a demigod na? Onya demigod do. Onya bosom. You create bosom from people and it messes up. Your picture way ye cry joy cry there ye President Mahama nim ye. She the NDC for mu ye no. Mututu na Akufo-Addo enim de galamsey. That one was okay. Mu use the campaign. Mu use way na Akufo-Addo first way second of galamsey. Ye nyina ye support say on fight galamsey. You were using this picture NDC for many abreno. Sa time no mumu say na kan asem no. Na Akufo-Addo ye this picture way ye no mumu say na NDC for pen na car say nsem tro for mamu nyusu and say oye panyi NDC ni ben mu de mon dem mu obi show say ye use sa picture way NDC ni bi ka say Joy FM multimedia insure FM my nyusu sa picture no. You see those things in the moment we create a demigod from people, we create a demigod. And to once afi enche and then my omu ya hantai no. The moment a mu ni say president yen kanasem no, and then obonso obenyina ne yen kanasem no ya hantai. What is it about respectfully the president yen timi nyusu nanim? Constitution no why na was so hwe? Yen kenkan sa de no hada. Constitution no why na agudie no hwe so? Say nano yen ka say me nano on the platform me botchra say because I will never forgive Nana Akufo-Addo. So wa ma yen so aye brown. Man can waha. Many ambride bia on MPP. Say Nana Akufo-Addo. Washa magalamsey na asay. Na de ntini ntimi kan che ye John Mahama say ono so washa magalamsey na ekoso. What is it about John Mahama that we cannot talk about it in terms of Galamsey? And honestly, I don't see why Joy FM was a muyi. Na me enter me use we no dear we are me use. Me and me no regional minister me and me I'm different, but I also disagree. Honestly, then you can say multimedia. I was saying we crowd do my idea. Also come to tune ni bi. I was a cabinet ni nyina ya din su fi ni bi si wo. Pay Rastos the enemy. Pay Rastos the enemy. Yes. No what's the son? Okuje to Blakk na no okuje to Blakk na okuta saa de no cabinet okuta insufi na Joy FM ye twitwa no eno na nam use the campaign near dear na Akufo Addo. You see, I hate it. We need to stop that hypocrisy. Say John Mahama dia mayenka dabi na no be the same thing am kan say na Akufo Addo mayenka John Mahama dia maybe me kasa de John Mahama onye nipa, because it was a time I said na Akufo Addo be bia no, it was okay in the sight of MPP. It was okay when we are criticizing na Akufo Addo, it was okay. But all of a sudden, the moment you touch John Mahama, hey, stomach journalist, hey, President John Mahama, for Christ, he's serving us. And I want to say, dear pe and obey, Nani Tilcry, Quabrochina cartoonist nibi, dear you left and right. Yet you chroma, mo, a Bradina couple. She okuja to Blakk, and all displays are dewy. Okuje to Blakk me ankasa me nia okuje to Blakk sa bre no na no display sa de wu na akotwa ye enjoy FM4 Rasta sasare don ko ne kose sa insuo no river hwan river yensu river nyina na yera okuje to Blakk at that time parliament all display bra Facebook na be he sa mra ne de ne ye sa mra na ne kase na Akufo Addo na Galamsey no ono utu se na Akufo Addo wate asime ehunu nsuo no NDC for anamu ye we anamu de campaign boy abaso no samre na anamu use ye documentary any ye pictures yewra okuje to Blakk ekuta bi no samre mi busa say samre na Akufo Addo te say otu Galamsey makati am say Ghana nyamo de Ghana nya NDC ni MPP de we are not going to allow you akwanya enti so unya akwanya na wo soma de ye pebia ye be President John Mahama de ye pebia ye ne ye tua ne ka ye ne to ne boxer shorts mano ye ne to ne singlet mano ni shoe ni milo awon ye ne to mano de pen obeye enya de ono pen obeye ena ye full soldier you don't care enya wo de wo pese o kire ne wo se ye ma wo obi anka nche so me president obi anka nche president nya by force sa wo do ho ba wo do ho aba munya nya atwum no. Yes, President John Mahama airborne homodin. But ye pese ade no etu ase enya te say o born homodin o. Because Galamsey every day nipa, in fact every minute obi nya kidney problem, every minute obi nya liver problem, obi nya cancer. Enti enya te say ye twen there be ye be sini hune so akopem say ye better say afi de ye flash all the Galamsey out. Na ye nso ne protect it. Damre na no kuje to Blakk display nso no. NDC for be ne can say, oh, enya fede honorable mo ye munyai. Samre no me bana me be kekemu egu na Akufo Addo ne MPP so na bon sem akwedo ka no krepa adwuma na no na oye no. Na ka say Galamsey, me makacho say Galamsey no, so uye obi oye Galamsey ana baya won solve no, me no unye free. When it comes to issues of Galamsey, opa ye den, when it comes to issues of destroying the water, I will not allow you. Mentwe maw. Ya bro. Ya bre. Me say so we. Monye editing ni mamu amutimi editing no. Monfa President John Mahama ni tintua so. Na onkuta sanso no. Na mun display. Moma cabinet no metwa cabinet no monfa nso ni bi nsi so maye AI monfa nye. Ni enka dear John Mahama koma. Stop Galamsey now. Ye be use President John Mahama ni pictures aye bibia when it comes to Galamsey. Me and Aminiane Frankamo, but I disagree with him. And in fact, I disagree with Joy FM. Me platform may disagree. Say, muyi picture no because what is pressure? Pressure. Oh, my full soldier said dictate amount. Pressure. Have you forgotten our job? Chapter 12 of the Constitution, the DNAK. kind Constitution, chapter 12. Or say every day hold the government accountable to the people. It is our mandate, constitutional right. When I'm here, I'm creating demigod of Fenian Cassana, so mudi, Yanya is through, Debbie. For soldiers, it's part of the organized flak. Means our project in mind. It's part of psychology. They penkophobia no maba be attack you nafe uyam show Debbie. Yapa Ghana, 9 people for you gada cramfa, NDC, Mopa Mumra, Emfa. Yabeji Ghana, Esuho. Mekan chapter 12 kakrebiachro. Freedom and independence of the press. Amu no answer mu yesi ya no be a de ope. Article chapter 12 of the Constitution. Freedom and independence of the media is hereby guaranteed. Okaya. I say 5 no. 1625. I say all agencies of the mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the principles, provisions, and objectives of this Constitution, and shall uphold the responsibility and accountability of the government to the people of Ghana. Article 162, class 5. Go and read it. Yeah, Jumani said at all times. Yeah, Majo Mahama, and you can so home because me mama na kufa do home. It's me Majo Mahama so home. I'm not forcing you to listen to me. Now, I'm going to make a TMP before saying, you're forced to tie me. Into NDC, now, when you're happier, Cotier, the Omuba can be amount. Maybe because when NDC 1 PP.
And then I do about an anno pay. To buy an NDC.
See, I did quite a bit through in slow a monana a bomb. To say a papa.
The 10 and I was so.
I tell him.
I know it.
Oh, papa, I say a yepa.
It's the woman they come.
No, be
to the bar, to
make him kind.
Hey,
and I'm some kind Bible. And I'm saying, my Bible, dear, dream. Some other was so. That was it.
It is a bit to feel none and near for it is so. Who will be a or chess person, the person I will catch her.
The Americans say one fast battle into bed, the Quran. Now, about so far, clear one. Women in draft from room. Oh, no, I say, oh, no one drink. Nay, yea, Jumana, or one. Now, what you so young, one. I met.
It is a oh, chair the Pamunumias, a equi, a data number catcher, and the Pamunumias.
Oh, Michelle will be a sir. My cousin is on your uncle border to see. You do one more turn, your horse, almost as so far. What do you mean? Oh, fire. One shed and charge you say, go up on the echo, you say, or be more broke a crab in arm. One me, I'm military, I'll be who said, I dear Merco, dear, how be a few.
Sure, you. I have 4 more very. Emma, you buy my money was me.
Fine, said 3 weeks in when you took now 2 minutes and when.
Now 2 minutes and Emma. Ever to agree, Conum ye. And then, Papa said, once and a day, oh dear dance. And to work also to fear our near friend. A test so when you're glaucoma. Or shall dear who Blakk, what I so like I say, baby, I don't know me. Who will do her also person for appear now a year in first also. We are about when you are already sure when you should do. Amen.
Hey, for also my papi do not toss, mammy. For also my papi do not toss. Interesting days ahead. Hey, Charlie, Mexican and I be a dead man. I make catch now. Now, who can say research and ya kind of bravo keke. Ya ni bra breno. Mudia muni ya be research MPP kurama. Party na eguno. Ya be research party na because se party na nyina. yenya responsible opposition or day government in the top because they said ya moya ne de atase na achimo I so na 38% no adimu trimu dem mo hwa na mo kasa mo opposition na makoma adimu brim ene na ma moya de amoya no I was here responsible opposition. I oba match government na ma government na we say me ye ABCD ekoye me ye ABCD ano de anya nti o sa me sesa. Ade na ye ka kire NPP for na wo mo say ye tan wo mo ne didi o matem obi kura se me didi na na do atem didi ba o mi atem and to date obi enti ma single video me ka wo video ni mo say na na do 77 previous e bia ni tiso ana se bia me nka bi da me ni na tem physical and verbal assault me man bi da ba umia me ni na tem da na mo maka ba umia se wa bon of which me ni na tem na no ani ko for kwase wa bon na me ka se wa bon wa breaking news mo de cha se mo bon wa ma propaganda nti mo sua hwe mo sua de ye kire mo de so mo se ye mo minimo ye kire mo de no a mo se kura wa mo mu ade me pa cho me se me nya kura o me ka kira mo sa mo social media kran twamwa na omugu Facebook na munya data 2 cd ya na wa kra ketwa na me pa cho me nya kra misha wo se wo na wo ka no betimi awo me wo na wo ti wo na wo ya me betimi awo me se munu sa ade ye ka na kra keten na mu bu ade na panyi no obu ne ho o panyi no obu ne ho obi ti sa no don Prez wo se mi mbu ne sa se obi o ti didi president yatem
Eden do wa ba na no pay.
Na meni.
To buy no NDC.
See. Adi white bit sexu insu emunana ebom. See a papa.
The tenor na wo so.
Ye ka wo.
No le ten.
Oh. Pepa. Adi say yepa.
Se una de kama.
No bibia.
Ti de ba sem na.
Ti make en kind.
Hey,
And I'm some kind Bible. And I'm saying the Bible dear dream. Tamata was so that was it.
it is said obi tifi na na ne fra etesi so ohunu bibia o she special. De ba sem na wo ka kire.
You make cancer one fast back into the Kura. Now about so far to a one. When men in draft from room. Oh, no,